How do you actually know if a man sees you in his future or if he's just wasting your time? And no, I'm not talking about whether he's talking about long term planning or even buying you expensive gifts. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the one framework that completely changed the way I evaluate men. And it's the same one you should be using to evaluate every man you date. Now, if you're only dating one man, that is a completely different conversation. And I'm going to save the end of this video to yell at you about that. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to call it, for simplicity's sake, a man's investment pyramid. And by the time we're done here, you're going to know exactly how to tell whether he is simply enjoying your company or deliberately building a future that includes you. You will also understand the 4 levels of his investment and why so many women mistake a man's generosity for commitment like behavior. Because if you've ever asked yourself, how do I know if he's serious? You aren't alone. I get that question all the time. And almost every dating coach will tell you to look for the signs. Okay. Like what? Like, does he text you every day? Does he include you in his plans? Does he introduce you to his friends? Does he talk about the future? And yes, while those things do matter, they still don't answer the question you're really asking. You and I both know a man can say all the right things and still never have a provider mindset, let alone build out a life with you in it. Here's where I think so many women lose years of their lives to dating. We are taught to ask the wrong questions. If we were taught anything at all, I don't know about you, but I was raised by hyenas, so it took me years to figure this stuff out. Instead of asking, is he really investing in me? We ask, did he pay for dinner? Well, of course he did. He was going to eat anyway. The only question was whether he was eating alone or whether you were going to be joining him, smiling and laughing at his jokes. Okay, those aren't the same thing. Buying dinner is a moment. Building your future is a pattern. And for years, Dumb V, my former unenlightened self, thought provision was pretty straightforward. Either a man was generous or he wasn't. Then I spent years working around the ultra high net worth men before eventually moving into the neighborhood. And then I noticed something else. The men who truly had a provider mindset didn't just invest money. They invested access, opportunities, knowledge, their networks. They understood that money was only one resource that they could use to improve a woman's life. Long before they ever spent a dollar, they were already investing in her. That's when I realized something. It is easy to mistake a man's generosity for commitment. We have all done it. And then 6 months or 6 years later, you're left asking yourself, was he ever even serious about me? Has this ever happened to you? The problem is we didn't have a framework for measuring his investment until now. This pyramid will answer the 2 questions women ask more than any others. How do I know if he's serious? And how do I know if he actually sees a future with me? And the answer isn't what he says. It's the highest level of investment he's naturally willing to reach. So save this video now, because once you understand this pyramid, you will never evaluate a man the same way again. Ready? Let's start at level 1. He pays for moments, dinner, gifts, experiences. These are investments in memories. They make you feel special, create emotional highs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're also still temporary. Once the dinner is over, the vacation ends, or the flowers die, that investment is gone. That's why this is at the bottom of the pyramid, not the top. Level 2, he invests in your comfort. He notices areas of your life where there's pressure, and he removes it as quickly as he can. Why? Because obstacles in your life become obstacles in the relationship. If you're worried about food, clothing, and shelter, you're probably not showing up as the happiest, most relaxed version of yourself to these dates. The less energy you have to spend surviving, the more you have to enjoy life and that relationship with him. It still stuns me to this day that men don't understand this. Level 3, he invests in your growth. This is where his investment starts changing your trajectory. Literally, he creates opportunities, introduces you to people you wouldn't have met on your own. He opens doors that would have taken you years to unlock by yourself. I'm not saying you can't unlock them by yourself. I'm saying that this is the shortcut. He shares knowledge, experience, and resources. He wants your life to become bigger because he's in it. And a man with the provider mindset doesn't just ask, how can I make her life easier? He asks, how can I help her become more? When he wins, you win, because he understands that investing in your growth strengthens the future the 2 of you are building together. Inside the Dating Strategy Lab, we take the men you are actually dating and map them against frameworks like this one, so you're not left wondering if he's actively building a future with you or if he's just wasting your damn time. The founding rate is currently locked in, link below, before it goes up. All right, level 4, he invests in your future. If you're serious about dating strategy for women, this is the level almost nobody teaches. This is the highest level of a man's investment, and it's not because it costs the most. It requires the greatest commitment. This is where a man stops asking, what can I do for her today? And starts asking instead, how can I set her up for the future? Assets, property, businesses, retirement planning, you name it. We're talking legacy. This is where you stop measuring generosity and start measuring vision, because the sexiest form of provision isn't money, it's planning. A man who's thinking long term isn't reacting to life, he's intentionally building it. And when he naturally begins placing you inside of those plans, that's one of the clear signs he sees you as no longer temporary. Most women don't confuse level 3 with level 4. They confuse level 1 with level 4. That's the mistake. Dinner tells you he bought dinner. It doesn't tell you if he's thinking about building a future with you. That's why him spending money isn't the question. The question is, what is he investing in? I didn't learn this from a book. I learned it marketing to the 1%, the founders, the fund managers, the art collectors, and entrepreneurs, and watching who they invested in and who they didn't. And later, after moving to the French Riviera and now Monaco, I watch these same patterns play out in real relationships every single day. Some wealthy men never develop a provider mindset. I don't care how much money they have, and that's okay. And some more average income men absolutely do, and that's also okay. Being wealthy and having a provider mindset are not the same thing. That's what I want you to take away from this today. Once you understand that distinction, dating becomes a whole lot clearer. Which brings me to a quick story. I got stories for days, okay? A woman I know married a billionaire. From their first date to walking down the aisle, 8 months. Everybody around her thought she had won the lottery, literally. She did too. He moved fast, she moved in faster. Lavish vacations, gifts, a dream proposal, an over-the-top wedding. And from the outside, it looked like the top of that man's pyramid, but it wasn't. He was still on level 1. He just had a much bigger budget. She never stopped to ask the question that mattered. What has he invested in me besides experience? A man giving you access to his credit cards is not security. I have seen many a women have access one day, and the next day they are trying to figure out where they're going to live. With her, no financial plan in place, no ownership, no assets in her name, no structure that protected her if and when that marriage ended. He skipped straight to the wedding without ever building that foundation. You know why? Because it was to his benefit, and men always do what's in their best interest. Less than a year later, that marriage was over. She mistook access to his credit cards and proximity to wealth with being wealthy. Those are not the same things. And that's why dating strategy for women isn't about finding the wealthiest man. Although finding the wealthiest one with means to take care of you is essential, wealth alone isn't enough. The real question is this: where does he naturally invest his resources? Does he invest it in moments with you, or does he invest it in your future? Those are two very different men. If this framework helped you see your own relationship or a future relationship differently, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another lesson that could save you years. Here's the thing I want you to remember. Men don't make plans for women they see as temporary. It costs them too much of their time, energy, and resources. They make and only invest in plans with women they intend to keep. Most women are looking for signs. I teach you dating strategy because strategy beats guesswork every single time. If you enjoyed this video, the next video I'd watch is a breakdown of the 5 green flags that separate a real provider from a man who's simply rich. I've linked it right here, and I will see you there.